Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today I've got the most adorable collection from our friends at Creative Expressions. This is the Woodland Walk collection. 3 stamp sets. This one is the Missy Mouse, the Slow Joe Snail, and the My Dear Deer. And I can't wait to show you what I did with these stamps. They were really fun to play with, so come back and play with us. So let's start with the Slow Joe Snail, and this is a 6.5 by 5-inch card, and I've cut about 3/4 of an inch off the front flap only. And I've covered my card with, well, black cardstock, got a nice little mat there, and it's about, probably 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And then I use for my background, this is the Secret Garden 6x6 printed cardstock. In fact, I am really focusing on the 6x6 today. We're going to be using all of these patterned cardstock packs. So I used this one right here, which has got a really nice subtle green background with all the leaves. And then I think we're going to do a little review on stamping and what inks to use, what paper I use to stamp on, and how to do that. So if you are new to stamping, this is for you, and if this is old news, just skip ahead. So here we go. So what do I like to stamp on? I love to use Hunky Dory lightweight essential cardstock, and if you are purchasing this at Paper Wishes, we call it Stampin' White cardstock. And it's a great big slab of paper. It's just the right size. There's 75 sheets in here. It fits very nicely into our Misty stamping platform. And if you are not familiar with stamping platforms, they are a marvel. If you're new to stamping, make an investment in this. It'll make you very successful, and you'll be the greatest stamper in the world. So I start off by, as you can see, I already have my stamped image here, but I start off by putting my cardstock right here. And then because I'm going to be coloring with alcohol-based markers, so these are tri-blend markers, we'll get to that in a minute, I need to use an ink that is water-based so that it's not going to blend with the alcohol markers and be all smeary and matty and terrible. So there's a couple options that we have here at Paper Wishes. You can get the alcohol-proof dye ink. It's right there on the label. You can't make a mistake on that one. It is also by Spectrum Noir, the same company that does the tri-blend markers. Also, I like to use Memento Tuxedo Black. So either one of those works great. Went ahead and stamped my image. Now, if I wasn't okay with how this looked and it had sort of an uneven stamping, and I wish I could go over that again, you just ink your stamp without moving your stamp, and you just keep going over that image. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. The magnets have kept everything in place. You're not moving anything. You're just repeatedly stamping over that to make sure you get a perfect image every single time. So that is my tip for the day there. And let's take a look what's in this little Slow Joe Snail. So you get this, let me put this on white so you can see this. Ugh. So we've got our sweet little snail, and we've got a couple of little greetings here and this adorable little border here. And as you can see, that's what I did with my little cutaway portion. I went ahead and cut that away, put this entire card in the stamping platform, and then just stamped that right there. But it is a little short, so then I had to move it down a little bit and stamp a little extra bit right there. So once I got to that point, then I used a couple of ink pads here. This one is Prism, excuse me, olive green, and then evergreen. And what I did with this is I just used the surface of the ink pad, and I went over this just like this, oops, on the camera, just like this, to get that nice bold color there. And then I went to the evergreen, which is a nice dark green, and I just did a couple of little spaces like that just to add a little extra color there. Okay, and then, so I've got my image stamped right here. Let's talk about coloring. Before I colored, I cut my image down a little bit, and so I used 12 oval and scallop cutting dies from hot off the press. I used this one right here, and I just placed that cutting die right there. Now you can color this first and then use your cutting die, but you'd just be cutting away all the stuff you colored. So I recommend going ahead and doing your shape first. That's how I got my little oval. And then I just took another ink pad. This is Arctic Mist. This just makes the most lovely blue sky. And I just took the surface of it And I just went like this over the surface of my little sky up here and didn't worry about getting down into the leaves and the flowers and stuff because I was just going to color over them anyway with a darker color. This is so light, it doesn't make any difference. So once I got that done, let's pretend I have already cut this down and we're going to do some coloring. So the colors I used are the baby pink blend, the citrus blend, which is just a really nice yellow, and then we've got golden brown, bright pink, and purple blend. So I really wanted to focus on coloring our little snail friend here. So to do that, we're going to do golden brown. And what I did was I started, if you're not familiar with these pens, they're 3 pens in one. So they have the dark, the medium, and then the lightest shade. And they are just brilliant so that you get this really nice ombre effect. They blend beautifully, and I am not a great colorer, and I find success with using these, so I highly recommend them. So we're going to start at the base of the, I guess the snail itself and not the shell. We're going to start down here and make that part much darker, and there's a lot going on there, so you just have to kind of follow the lines carefully. And now we're going to do the medium shade, and then we're going all the way up to the light shade. And so if you would imagine that the bottom of the shade is going to be darker because it's near the ground, and the top is lighter because the snail's head or the top of his body is getting more sunlight. All right, so now we're going to do the shell part, and we're going to continue to use that golden brown, and we're going to use some of the bright pink. So let's go to the bright pink. If I'm not sure how strong a color I want to make it, I start off with the medium color or even the light color. I very rarely start with the largest color when I'm experimenting. Now, I know when I was doing the snail body, I did start with the darker color, but I was real sure about what I was going to do. So on this one, I started off with the medium color, and it is a very bright color. Then I'm going to go to the darker color, and I'm just going to put a little bit more color along the bottom. And I'm going to take that darker color, and I'm just going to draw along the edge of the shells, circles there. All right, and now I'm going to just take the lightest shade. We're going back to that golden color, and we're going to just color this in us a little bit. We're going to be doing a little mixing of colors here, just like that. And now we're going to go to that light pink color, and we're going to start with a darker color on this one because it is so light. All right, now we're just going to color that in, that whole thing. And these little circles, I ended up right here, these little circles, I ended up coloring those in with a purple pen. But it doesn't matter, we're just going to go right over those. Go. And then we're going to go back to that light pink, the lightest shade of that. We're just going to kind of blend that in a little bit. Some more color in there. That. And then back to the light. This is the darkest color. And there we go. I'm pretty happy with that. And then I'm just going to pop over to that purple, and I'm going to use the lightest shade of the purple and just color this in. That's a little too light. Let's go to the medium shade. You can always add color, but it's really hard to take it away. So there we go. And that's how I colored my little snail with the flowers here. Started off with that purple, went with the dark, close into the center. And then returned with that lighter color, the lightest shade, and just blended that right there. And then I just added that citrus color to the center, that citrus yellow. Okay, now once I got that colored in, needed to, yep, there we go. Then once I did that, I want to go back to my medium color and just bring that color out a little bit more into the leaf, the petal rather. There we go. Like that. Let's go ahead and add some yellow. use the very brightest color of yellow here. I'm just going to color that in. And then I went and just for this, I added that same olive green right here, and I just used the surface of the ink pad and I went all the way up and then added that little green right around the bottom edge. Really simple. Foam taped that to my card and then added a little purple bow. All right, so let's move on to the sweet little Missy Mouse. Here we go with the Missy Mouse. This is a 5x5 card with a fold at the top. And I covered the card with perfect little print 6x6 patterned cardstock. I used this one right here, this leaf pattern. And on the back, it's got the white version of the same print. And used the 12 circle and scallop cutting dies right here for my circles. So I did a nice big circle out of that black print. And then actually went ahead and stamped my cute little image here. Let's show you what this one looks like. This one has got a nice selection of greetings and a cute little mouse. I didn't use the hearts on there, but it's just really a sweet little collection there. And then when I went ahead and die cut my little circle here and then did my same technique with the olive green and the evergreen ink, used that same Arctic Mist ink pad up here. And then I just colored my mouse, and for that I just returned to the golden brown blend marker. It's one of my favorites. And then the light pink right here. And then just a little dark red for these flowers right there. Really simple card to put together. Foam taped that. It should mention the border here. Once I did my scallop circle, I just took a little strip of this paper, and it's about, an inch and a quarter wide, and then I matted it with the pink cardstock that coordinates with this paper pack. And just glued that right across the center and then foam taped this to the top. Little pink glimmer ribbon there, finished it off. All right, so the last one is the My Dear. And for this one, this is a really great stamp set. It's got a lot on that and it's great. It's got a lot of mixed media elements here. And that's what we're gonna do for this next card. So for this one, started off with my stamped image, and I stamped that with rustic brown, and this one is also the alcohol proof ink. And then where's my card? Oh, here we are. Okay, I'm going to start with what I did to color this guy. So for cutting him out, I just took my little tiny scissors here, and for cutting I just started right here. And I want you to watch my scissors. The scissors actually don't get moved. You're just cutting, you're turning your paper, and that keeps things from looking like this. And you get these really hard, sharp edges. When you just move the paper instead of the scissors, and you're working in the jaw of the scissors there, it keeps things nice and smooth. Okay, and you're just keeping the scissors in the same direction. Oops, got a little cut there I need to go back over. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I would normally never think of cutting the stamp out, but I wanted to show you the different shapes you could really use with these stamps, that you don't just have to rely on rectangles and squares. There we go, we're just turning. And we've got this little spot up here. And I did kind of go like this among the antlers. All right. So once we get to our little shape right here, I didn't cut it out exactly, but you get the idea. I'm going to return to my favorite color of pen, which is that golden brown. Go. And I start with the darkest color, sort of at the haunches there of that deer. And then going to go work with the medium. And I'm not going to color this whole guy because I think you're going to get the idea here. And then working with the medium all the way down the leg there. Like that. And then I'm just finishing this off with the medium, except when I get to right there on its chest, we want to do something a little lighter right there. and just work that in with that medium color. Okay, so then for the flowers here, I actually used a coral color and this dark red. So for the dark red, went to the top with the little flowers, went like that. Oops, I pulled the whole center of that off. There we go. And then I returned with that lighter color. Went like that over the flowers. And then kind of the same with the coral right here. So when I was all done coloring, then I took the roasted coffee ink pad and I just did this along the edges just to bring in some more of that brown, kind of give that distressed edge. And I went all the way around like that. Okay. All right, so when we're done here, we've got our deer all colored. And then I'm using, this is Ethereal Bouquet 6x6 pattern cardstock. And I love the colors in this, kind of brooding. So we're using a 5 by 6.5 inch card. And what I did is I took the music, which is this one right here, and I just glued that to the card. Of course, I have 1/2 inch at the bottom because it was a 6.5 inch card, but that's okay. We're going to actually do a little tearing. So this one right here has this wonderful little bouquet at the top and the bottom, and I just tore this part off. And then I just returned to that roasted coffee ink and went right like that to ink that torn edge. That's going to get glued right here to the bottom. And then we're going to take this little guy and we're just going to kind of tuck it like that. It's almost like he's standing on this mountain, okay? So we've got our glue here. This is Cosmic Shimmer Specialist Acrylic Glue. And what I'm going to do is, I should also mention, I've also put some Dazzle stickers along the top edge. And these are colorful, thin line border Dazzle stickers. And there's a really nice sort of coppery brown color that's in here. Whoop, that one right there. That's what I used along the top edge. I'm going to use my glue here. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along the bottom edge like that, and then along the top edge like that. And that bouquet kind of cluster of flowers right in the center. And then I'm going to take this guy, and before that glue dries too much, I'm just going to tuck him in there. I like to glue the bottom of that floral decoration on first so I can kind of know where I want him. I don't want to glue my deer down and then have him be too high or too low. I'm just going to tuck that in right there. I did go ahead and do some stamping here. I stamped the Happy Birthday, Walk on the Wild Side. I would normally do that after I've glued this on here, but I was trying to save a little time. So at this point then you would stamp your Happy Birthday, Wild Side, and then we've got these great little pieces here, which are perfect for that sort of distressed mixed media look. I stamped those using brown ink. I actually just used the roasted coffee ink and stamped those there. And we're going to go ahead and take this and trim this even. You'll notice I turn the card over when I'm wanting to trim things even with the card edge. Just gives that really nice tight fit there. Now we're going to return to the roasted coffee. And normally I wouldn't have these Dazzle stickers on there quite yet. Once again, trying to save a little time. So after you ink, then I would go ahead and add those stickers on. So I'm going to go ahead and do one right now. So this one's got a nice little scalloped edge to it. And how I place these are just so thin and so fine. Place them on one side of the card just like this. Tack that down and then just stretch it right, well, not really stretch it, you don't want to stretch, just place it very gently across the rest of the card and then you'll get a nice straight edge. All right, and clip that off. There we go. And I think that'll do it for our card we're putting together. So you guys, this is a fantastic collection. Got a little bit of whimsy here, some masculine looks, and works really great with the 6x6 paper. So I'd encourage you to check that out. We have a great money saver. So just take a look. The money saver is right over there on the right-hand side of the screen. And if you're interested in 1 or 2 items, look directly below our video and the products used are right there. If you're watching us on YouTube, we haven't forgot about you. Look below the video in the description box and you'll see the link that'll take you to this Paper Wishes webisode page. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps people find us, and subscribe. We do 3 to 5 videos a week and we don't want you to miss anything. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.